Dear class, I changed this topic from hacks to tips because saying hacks sounds like I'm trying to sound like a cool person, and this is not the case, which is one of the things I learned in middle school. As always, the assignment page, grading rubric, and relevant textbook content constitute your gold standard of expectations for this project. These tips are intended as a few high leverage ways to improve your work or for this project to avoid common pitfalls. The tips are, sorry for the text messages in the background. One, write a product or process description, not an instruction set. Two, it's okay to use visuals you haven't created, cite the source, and communicate your vision for what those should look like. And finally, meet the word count requirements by providing relevant and useful content in the introductory and closing sections and by including relevant definitions. So I discussed these at length further below. Please send me a message if you have any questions about this project. Finally, thanks all very much for your great work in the discussion boards these past few weeks. As I've been working through the grading, I enjoyed your insightful comments on the AI discussions in particular, and I'm also super impressed by the generous and thorough comments in your peer review workshops. You've been demonstrating tremendous investment in your partner's success, and that is an excellent attribute to take with you onto your other classes and to your postgraduate or workforce work. So good luck in your projects. And again, message me if you have any questions. I'm going to get into those tips further below. First, write a product or process description, not an instruction set. 3 things in life are certain: death, taxes, and that at least one instruction set submitted. Let me rewind that. 3 things in life are certain. I'm getting like proper writing parallel structure hung up in my head, but this is a more casual context. 3 things in life are certain: death, taxes, and at least one instruction set submitted instead of a process description in every section of English 202C. This happens in, I think, every section of this class that I've taught. Ask yourself as you're writing, am I telling someone how to do something, or am I describing a thing or a thing that happens? This is the difference between telling someone how to fly a plane, wrong for this assignment, and describing how air moving over winds generates lift, right for this assignment. Second, it's okay to use visuals you haven't created. Cite the source and communicate your vision for what these should look like. It is not assumed in this course that you're a graphic artist. It is okay to use images from somewhere else. Just be sure to cite your source and try and communicate what your vision is for what, in an ideal world, that visual will look like. This can be done in software as simple as PowerPoint. You can put your image there, add labels to where you want them in whatever color or typeface is most suitable, and then export that slide as an image and paste it into your document, or even just do the whole assignment in PowerPoint, keeping in mind that the word count requirement still applies. It's just that PowerPoint can give you a few more layout options than you might consider otherwise. This could be also a good space, and by this I mean creating an image, to experiment with using generative AI, because image generation is now part of Microsoft Copilot, and you do have access to that. Just cite it as best you can, note the tool you use to generate it, and be aware of its limitations. You might need to make corrections to the image or refine your prompts, and you should probably do any labeling or use of text to label the image surrounding the image. You need to do that on your own manually. Finally, you can meet word count requirements by providing relevant and useful content in the introductory and closing sections and by including relevant definitions. Students will occasionally ask how to fill out the word count for this project. Certainly, if you've picked too simple a process or too narrow a slice of a larger process, then you might need to reconsider your project choice and scope. But if you're in good shape on that end, you may want to consider what material your audience needs to know before you get started. That can be a helpful introduction. And make sure that you recap the process at the end. That can be a helpful conclusion. Include relevant definitions as needed. And I think the Marcellus Shale example from the discussion boards is a good example of this. Again, I emphasize the word relevant here because we don't just want filler filling up these sections with words. This should be well-structured, organized, clear, and relevant to the product or process that you are describing. Thanks.